Hey guys, Bitcoin is making a break for it, but will it last? We'll have to take a look. Let's take a look. Cheers. Okay, so here we are on the Bitcoin chart. It looks like it's broken out of its range here, but I'm going to change to a better time frame. We'll go to the hour. And it is broken above the triangle. It's breaking out. But can this be sustained? So we have a lot of strong activity on the 1 hour stochastic here. Let's go to the 4 hour and see what we're looking at over time. It's starting to move up again. It's really in this sort of overbought territory, but this is where a lot of things can really sort of get that energy to take off. We are on a 13 candle. So I'm expecting that to sort of cool off a little bit, pull down, but we may take another sort of few pushes up, perhaps, over the next hour or so. Okay, but I'm expecting it to sort of drop back a little bit, cool off, and this could be the breakout that we've been waiting for. If we have a look at the daily, there's still plenty of room to move on the daily. This is looking pretty bullish. I'm expecting it to come back. Like I said in one of my videos, I think it was yesterday, we were hoping that it would make a push up and another push up and then just kind of skate along here for another day or so and then get ready to follow. So by the time we hit this junction point here, we might be getting a good price to indicate where we're actually going to start heading off to. This is the daily. There's plenty of room on the daily here for it to move up and maybe get up into the $68,000 range. But we've got to break through this strong resistance here. I think once we get over this, if we can get to 62, which shouldn't be too hard over the next 2 days, I think we'll really start taking off. If we look at the weekly here, the stochastic's still on this downward trend. It hasn't moved. It's not, it's not really turning too much, but it's just starting to move into the oversold territory. And so we may see it start to pull up, but that is still very heavy. But short term, I think we're really going to see a bit of a spike here, and this is what we were waiting for, it's what we were hoping for. I still don't discount the monthly, where we're on the 13. There is room for it to sort of move up a little bit more, maybe another week or two, sort of skate along, but we'll have to wait and see. There's 20 days left. I think in this 20 days, we might be able to sort of get this up to around, if we're lucky, 64 to 68. That's really going to be pushing it, but I think it is possible. So let's see. This was the breakout that we were hoping we would get. If we have a look back on the daily again, that is breaking out over our threshold here. There's a bit more momentum. It's quite strong. The only concern I have is, when we go back to our 4 hourly, there's as long as the daily keeps moving up, we could sort of see a bit more of a move along here, and it might just skate through along on this in the overbought territory. But that's not a bad thing, because that's just going to keep the price going for a little while. So we might have the next day or so. It's tough to see where this is going to go, guys. It really is. But especially being on the 13, we may start a new cycle if it keeps pumping. But I'm expecting, I think what would be better, I'm expecting a little bit of a pullback, and it's going to settle along here, regather itself, and then we might be lucky to start taking off. So as long as it stays in here, and this is not a fake out, I think we're in good territory to start pumping up in Bitcoin. So that's really good news. We might get that final pump up. Maybe will we hit 70,000? Still a fair way away, but we all know Bitcoin can move $3,000 or $4,000 in a couple of hours, if that. We've seen it move a couple of $1,000s in a half an hour. It's crazy. So can it get to the $70,000 range? It's going to be an interesting test to see. I think over a few days, it's certainly possible over a few days. But maybe we just need to see this weekly really start turning around. If this pump is enough to turn the weekly stochastic around and move it back into a lot of a heavier buying area, I think we'll be okay. But I really think we're pushing the limit as it gets up to the $68,000 range, guys. If we go up there, we're really pushing the limit. We'll just have to wait and see. You know, the breakout can come very quickly and then pull back down, or we can just cruise, chill a bit, and then really sort of get a nicer sweep off up to maybe 70, and then we'll start coming down. I think that monthly will kick in soon. It's still overshadowing the whole sort of Bitcoin environment, but it's looking good at the moment. Looking good at the moment. If we have a look at Ethereum, Ethereum has responded. I jumped into, get a little bit of Ethereum the other day. The daily is turning around here, starting to get a bit of momentum back towards the higher buying range, and this can get really, really nice and sort of hot here to the buy. Okay, I've only got the 4 hourly. 4 hourly is looking good trajectory back into this really hot buying range. We're also on a 2 candle. Usually when you have a green 2 above a green 1, that's very bullish. So Ethereum, if we can hit this 22.9, so 2300 area, you know, I think that'll be nice. You know, it'll be nice. I'd probably look at let's see how we go from there. On the 1 hour, very similar to Bitcoin, we've had this really big charge up, really big move. Things are pumping, looking good. I think we'll get a little bit of a pullback to the top here. We have broken the previous high, and that's awesome. So basically, we'll probably see a little bit of a pullback and then some more action. There's some heavy buying volatility action here, again, the volume. All right, so looking good for Ethereum as well. The problem I have with Ethereum is, you know, the daily is still sort of jilting down, but there's enough in the 4 and the 1 hourly to sort of keep it sort of pointing back up and come into that buying range again. If we look at the weekly on Ethereum, it's starting to level off, you know, but this can sort of come back down with a little bit of sell-off, and you know, it can be a bit of a rough ride, but we have broken out of that triangle again, so we're looking good for Ethereum. I think Ethereum, if we get a good pump on Ethereum, I think we could get up to maybe 25. Okay. Monthly on Ethereum, still overbought. Really, really overbought. But because everything's so bullish underneath, we might be all right for the next sort of 3 or 4 days of some buying. Okay, but just expect it again to probably just teeter-totter around this area and then maybe make a break for it in another sort of 2 days. 12th of April will be interesting to see where we go. So we're looking good at the moment. Cardano is really starting to respond to Bitcoin's move off. It's starting to have a push back up. Cardano could have a nice big sort of push and find some more resistance here. If we're lucky, it could break through the daily. There's plenty of room for it to start riding up. On the 4 hour, plenty of room for Cardano to move. I think, you know, if you want to jump in here, you might get a nice trade up to maybe $28. So looking good on the 4 hour. 1 hour, still plenty of room. There's still quite a bit of movement here. It's getting steep. We're getting some buying volume come back in. So the markets are getting pretty bullish at the moment. A little bit of cool off you can see happening, but I think they're still pretty volatile. So I'd love to see Cardano come back up and test this upper range here, because it has been sitting pretty flat for a while. So I really want to see it sort of come back up and break this here. And then if we go to the go back to the daily for a minute, we can see that, you know, here's these previous highs that we're looking at. That's what we've got to kind of break. So we've got to break here first, break through this, and then, you know, we should be able to get through this sort of resistance here a bit easier. So I'd love to see it come back up that $1.40 range. That's looking pretty good. Engine has been taking off insanely. Still plenty of room on the daily, but on the 4 hour, I think there's a bit of movement back. So we could just see it sit along here and maybe cool off a bit. But that's going to take a while, so we could see Engine maybe come back down and test the band area limits here. That is a big pullback, but you know, see how we go. On the 1 hour for Engine, yeah, very flat. because the 4 hour behind it is really pushing it down, we'll probably see some more flat action. It's going to be a bit hard for it to maybe have this spring back into action. I think it might get a bit more of a dead cat bounce if anything does happen. But you know, previous areas of resistance are right along the $2.90 mark. This is US dollars, by the way. Australian price is a little bit different. XRP, if you're interested in that. XRP is actually pretty bullish on a lot of time frames. The 1 hour is looking pretty good. 4 hours looking like it could have a really big boom. However, if we look at the daily is having a fair bit of a sell-off, and it's moving into this sell-off range. There's still plenty of time for it to maybe sort of push back up, but I think we might continue in this asymmetric triangles, you know, keep moving along like this sort of thing. You know, problem is it's very flat off here, so if I run off these here, this is the kind of thing we're looking at. This is on a daily scale, so you know, interesting. I'll have to see where she goes. Definitely bullish. It's very, very bullish though. The weekly, this is huge, you know. So look, a lot of us aren't XRP fans, but there may be some good avenues in the next, you know, maybe after tomorrow, coming into Monday, might be some good opportunity to jump into XRP, and you know, she's very likely to have a nice big pump up here. Who knows how far this one can go. So that's most of the sort of major coins. We can have a look at Link, a chain link. Stochastic showing that this the movement is, you know, sort of barreling out at the bottom here. I don't like this movement here. What, you know, this what it's showing, but it is kind of becoming more bullish, so that is good. That's on a weekly. If we look at the daily, again, you know, starting to sort of come down and have a move into a bit of a more sell-off. We've hit a 13 there as well, so 13's identify the end of a trend in the TD sequential. Okay, so it has had its bit of a sell-off, maybe a 1 to 4 candle correction, maybe a little bit longer, and then we see it move. Daily, yeah, there's a lot of rumor it can move down here, but it is very strong at the moment. You know, there's a lot of support, okay, around this area, so it might hold off around the $30 mark for a little while, and then start to get some more momentum. So we'll have to walk. If we go back to Bitcoin, Bitcoin's taken off again, looking good. It's now starting to break through that 61,200 mark. So could we see a pull out today? We could see a really big pull out today. It's this is amazing. Nice breakout. This is what everyone's been waiting for. This has been going for 2 months. So if we want to use this area here, I'll just go from here. I want to use this kind of, bring it back a bit. This is kind of what we're looking at. This is the expected price range. I don't know if it'll make it that far. If we take them from, say, here, we are looking at that $78,000 ultimate sort of price run. Some of the bulls out there are very, very bullish, like Tone Vase. He thinks it will meet this quite easily. Crypto, all those kind of guys think it could reach this quite easily. I'm more skeptic. I think it'll probably get to 67, 68, and I don't know what it'll do for there. I'm the type of person that, you know, step by step. Let's just try and get to this point, then let's get to that point, then let's get to that point. That's the better way to trade. If you have targets like this, it's only going to get you too enthusiastic, and you're going to miss out on other potential things that could sway the market a little bit, okay? So just take it step by step. You know, if we're breaking this 61, I would have a target around 65 to be ready to maybe take a little bit of profit if it breaks out to there and pulls back. Or it could go right up to the 67 mark. You know, we just don't know. But there's quite a bit of momentum here. There's a lot of space for it to move in the shorter time periods from the day to the hourly. It's looking pretty good. So let's see how we go. It's really starting to challenge this area now. It's basically, this is almost becoming well, at the moment it's the second highest close in Bitcoin ever. If we can move up to, say, if we can get to 61, 860 and close the candle there, that'll be the highest ever Bitcoin has ever closed at. So that'll be pretty amazing, guys. Anyway, I'm going to leave it there for now. See how you go. Be careful. Expect that there might be a bit of a pullback. See how things are going. But I think we are getting primed for this short-term breakout. I don't know where it's going to stop, but my money's probably around the 66 to 68 mark. I don't know if we'll reach the $70,000, $80,000 mark, but if we're just looking over the next 4 days, that's where we could get to. I'm thinking 64, 65 the next 2-3 days, if that, maybe even by tomorrow. So that's where we are there. Getting exciting. Please like, please subscribe, share it with others, and bye for now.